Hi, outside again with Stella. So I've been out with Stella for, I don't know, an hour maybe? I don't know, a couple hours? Half an hour? I don't know. Had the dogs out with me and then filled her water, checked her pH, adjusted her pH, which really takes a long time. I don't think it's supposed to take that long. Whatever. We'll talk about that if you ever are interested. I can share with you. But I'm doing something now which is possibly not necessary, but is so satisfying. So I like to trim up stuff. Let me show you. I like to trim up stuff like, whatever. See this? I think I broke that just now. I took this whole layer off. So this twists and locks to this layer. And I just took this whole layer off so I could get at the roots because they're super locked in. The roots are all enmeshed. So you see this hole. So this is obviously where the thyme lives. But watch, this is so satisfying. So most of these plants have been here since August 1st, and some of them are just done. Like this kale. Look at this. Do you see? It's got all this it's like turning into a tree. It's like branches and then long, crazy leaves. I actually just tasted one. It was pretty sweet and yummy, but even still, I think the plant's got to go. But so anyway, this is the kind of maintenance I do. So I get in here, and this was so satisfying because it was not easy. And I pull out this whole plastic cup. Those are the roots. These roots are relatively short. Some of them end up being feet long. But look at this tangled mess. So this is what they call baby greens mix. And so there's a variety of plants in here. They're not the same, though it does look like maybe there's only one type of plant left. No, there's a couple. Because you can see this guy. You see the shape of that leaf? Compared to this guy. Or better example is this guy. I can't talk with my hands right now, but kind of wavy and more shapy versus just more just straight up oval. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to clean up some of these little babies. They're obviously not getting sun. They're completely blocked. I trim the roots if they're long. These are not long. It's a trip. The roots are all different ones. I'm going to trim some of this stuff up. Maybe take out a couple of these. Maybe eat them. Maybe not. Whatever. Look for bugs. I've been really happy. There's no bugs. Guess that's the time of year kind of a thing. This little baby died. And so, do I need to do this? Do normal, gardeners and certainly not farmers. They do not do this. But I find it so satisfying just to clean it up. I have more produce on this thing than I can eat. But it's really a hobby for me. I'm really loving it. So you can see I've got 2 cups out. Here's the thyme. One time I detangled thyme, like you would hair, curly hair. And I finger detangled and just went like this and just gently untangled it. And so it went from a tiny little poof to kind of this shape, what you see now. Look at this. Isn't that sweet? I didn't know they'd be red. They're like a sweet pepper. They look like a spicy pepper, but they're not. They're sweet. And this guy. What happens is when the leaves get all big, the flavor changes. So I should really be eating this stuff, but I still have a ton of greens in the house that I harvested last week that I haven't eaten. I have a cool salad spinner, lettuce keeper thing that keeps it. Look at this. It's so tall. It's so tall. Yeah, so this is chard. Holy moly, I was in there messing with it and I didn't even realize it was this big. Look at this. Yeah, and the other reason why I gotta trim it up and harvest is because the guys under it, like this parsley, can't get any sun. Here, the parsley had some surprising roots. Let's see if I can get at the parsley for you. Show off the parsley's roots. This little plant was so spindly and such a baby, and I thought it was going to die. you can see I trimmed a bunch. I just took my scissors and just chopped off a couple inches of the roots. I guess you're allowed to do that. Looks kind of like carrot tops, but it's not. It's parsley. I'm gonna put in some carrot tops. Oh! I have an experiment. This reminded me. So this is a pool noodle. So when I took the big layer off top, I needed somewhere to like access the roots while I trimmed them or whatever. So I just leaned it on this guy. Grapevine, right? Except no, not grapevine, because this is just like hanging out here supporting these tomato plants, which are in Stella. And so I totally broke one of them. Yeah, this guy, see? Like I totally broke it, okay? It was just like leaning up here and I snapped it by accident. So we have an experiment going. So what I did, this is it. This is the one that I broke off. Look at all those tomatoes. Now, they'll probably ripen, but they won't get bigger, I don't think. And like, that is just not finished growing. These babies are, they're gonna start ripening. So I threw it in a hole with the pool noodle, used this guy to support it. I trimmed off some leaves and stuff on this main branch. And can you see? Where is it? I can't see it. Oh, there it is. So on the other side, this hook, this little guy, that clip, you can't see it, but I can feel it. I clipped the branch to the pole so that the branch is sitting in water. And there's a hydroponics methodology called like something like Kratky, I think. I always think of Kathy, but it's not. It's like the Kratky method. And so like in this system, the water falls down and then the roots get wet, but the roots are also just like sitting out in oxygen, which is also important. And in the Kratky method, the roots are basically sitting in water, I think. I don't even think it has to be nutrients. And the only reason I think this might work is because tomato plants vine and self-propagate. I might be getting the language wrong, but basically they'll vine out on the ground, and then just from like the branch, they'll like make roots like anywhere along the branch. So if you ever see a tomato plant and it looks like fuzzy, looks like it's got little white hairs, those are actually like roots, wannabe roots. I'm sure there's a name for it, but like those are potential roots. If it could find ground, it would use that and it would root along. So that's an interesting thing. So anyway, this is an experiment to see if I can get it just to create some roots and keep growing. And it might die. And I still think I'll be able to eat some of these tomatoes. They'll ripen. We'll see. Anyway, it's all fun, super fun, just an experiment, all of it, love it. Really does keep me happy. Yeah, really does make me happy.